purpose of this short video is to briefly introduce low-stress livestock handling and some of its principles and techniques as formulated by the late livestock handling expert Bud Williams, especially as they relate to working sheep through crowd pens and chutes. Low-stress livestock handling is working animals in a way that is efficient, effective, and safe while minimizing stress on the animals, because we learn to work more with the animals' minds instead of just their bodies, so they willingly do what we want. It is beneficial because we can get the same amount of work done in less time with fewer people and with cooperative animals, all of which have implications for performance and profitability. If done properly, low-stress handling can boost the number and growth rate of lambs, improve feed efficiency and reproductive rates of ewes, improve the quality of the wool clip, improve the productivity and health of the land we graze, and thereby increase the chance that the family business will pass on to the next generation. Low-stress livestock handling is based on certain principles, and whether you have a small flock or a band of 1,000, the principles are the same and are equally important and effective. First of all, livestock should not be forced to do anything they do not want to do or are not ready to do. Also, we need to set up every situation so our idea becomes their idea. Animals want to see what's pressuring them, they want to see where you want them to go, they want to go by us or around us, and under excess pressure they want to go back where they came from. In this clip, we see Barthelmess demonstrating some of those principles, namely that animals want to see what's pressuring them, they want to see where Eric wants them to go, and they want to go by him, which places them up towards the front. And in so doing, he makes his idea their idea, so they willingly exit the pen without the use of force. Now here we have Barthelmess driving these animals up this lane using what we call a zigzag. This is a straight line, forward angle approach which applies effective pressure into the animal's side. Now he's rocking from foot to foot, advancing slightly with each rock, which applies effective pressure on animals, especially in a tight situation like an alleyway. I want you to pay particular attention to the man in the center who would actually be positioned more effectively if he was literally out of the way or up towards the squeeze chute or sorting chute, which would put him in a position to walk what we call reverse parallel, that is from front to back or head to tail within the animal's pressure zone, and as he passes each animal's balance point, it drives it ahead. Then he needs to return straight across to the squeeze chute or the sorting chute. If your chute happens to be straight, as depicted in this diagram, the handler will move reverse parallel from front to back or head to tail within the animal's flight zone. As he passes each animal's point of balance, it drives it ahead. Then he needs to return via a straight line triangular pattern as shown here. This is demonstrated by Hibbard at Sieben Livestock. Notice the reverse parallel motion. As he passes each animal's balance point, it effectively drives it ahead, which is much more effective than trying to push animals from the rear. Another illustration, walking front to back or head to tail, effectively drives animals ahead. And a good way to load a chute out of a crowd pen is demonstrated here by Hibbard of Sieben Livestock Company, and he obeys our principles. The animals want to see what's pressuring them, they want to see where Chase wants them to go, and they want to go by him. So that puts him up near the front of the crowd pen and the entrance to the chute, which you can work either from the outside or from the inside. Basically, you get a lead going. The animals will then follow the other animals and go right around you up the chute. It works really well with cattle in what's called a bud box, and a bud box, which is named for the originator, Bud Williams, works equally well with sheep. Here we have a good example of Barthelmess bringing some cattle into a bud box. He pressures them up against the back, and they consequently want to go back where they came from, and they'll flow right around him and up the chute. And diagrammatically, it looks like this. It's basically a 14 by 20 foot box. The animals come into the box, The handler pressures them up against the back so that they want to go back where they came from, but that gate has been closed. They want to go around the handler. They want to see what's pressuring them and where the handler wants them to go, which puts them right up the chute. Here's another example of a bud box in action with cattle. And notice how easily these cattle just flow right through that system and out. I've found that these open and straight bud box systems work much better than the solid-sided curved tub systems, and they're certainly a lot less expensive. They cost next to nothing, and they work better. So here's a modified bud box. You will see all types of shapes and sizes, but more than shape and size in importance is the principles that we talked about earlier. So here we have Eric bringing in a draft of sheep into this bud box, opens up the gate to the lead up or chute, takes up the proper position so those sheep naturally flow around him and up the chute because he's made his idea their idea. Now in this draft, Eric has brought his dog in with him, which I normally don't recommend because in such a confined space, dogs can represent too much pressure. Also, it can divert the sheep's attention to the dog instead of where you want them to go. But in this particular instance, it seemed to work fine, so it probably depends more on the dog than anything else. Now Eric is bringing sheep into the bud box from a different direction. And this illustrates nicely that the most important thing is the handler taking up the proper position, which is towards the front of the bud box near the entrance to the chute, which obeys the principles that we enumerated earlier. And just notice how those sheep nicely flow right around him and up the chute. Next, we're going to see an example of loading sheep out through a tub. And in this clip, the handler has brought sheep into the tub, gone up to the front of the tub to open the gate to the chute. Then from there, he can work from the front to the back, basically obeying our principles, showing the sheep what's pressuring them, where he wants them to go, and also remember if they want to go around him. So they willingly go up the chute because he has made his idea their idea.